Well, hey everybody, it's that time of year again where I gotta make fire starters. As you can see here, I've got some pitch from Eastern Oregon and a couple bags from up in Washington. This is all pine pitch. I got some Old Man's Beard, pretty good collection of it, and some really dry sawdust. Some mixing container, some filters. This one's going to be for scooping out the bigger chunks, and then as I pour it, I'll pour it through the rice strainer. I'll be heating it all up in a big old can, dumping the finished ones into the little cans before I decide to dump them into and mixing them. Do this all on my barbecue, of course. Hopefully I don't make too big a mess like I did last year. It should be fun. Not sure how it's going to work out this time. I have a lot to do. I'll be using one of these pans for mixing. The other one's going to be for when I'm done mixing, and I'll let it cool. And that'll be hopefully interesting. But as you can see, there's one in the sun here, but you can see that it's got a lot of wood bark, and that bark is full of bugs too and stuff like that. So that's all got to get filtered out to make a nice clean pitch. And then I'll mix it with a little Old Man's Beard and a little sawdust and let it harden. And then I'll cut it and break it into chunks for little fire starter sticks. So yeah, the next thing to do is fill the can and get her going. Alright, I've got my can pretty well full, and we'll use just a pot grabber to move it around, but you can get her over here on the burner, and this is going to sit here for quite a while before it melts it down pretty good. I have to keep an eye on it, make sure I don't get a fire. Last thing I want is fire. Looks like I probably should have cleaned the grill a little bit, but it's going to smell good. But yeah, I'll come back once I get it to where it's liquefying a little better. Then I'll start scooping out all the bark and the bugs, because that stuff will all float to the top. And hopefully when I'm done, I don't have a burnt black resin, but we'll see. Sometimes it is just a burnt black resin, but it still works really, really good. I mean, these chunks, you could light that. You can see the pitch. You could light that easy enough with a lighter right now, but I want to make it expand it out more, so that's why I'll be mixing it with the wood chips and the Old Man's Beard. Well, I'm about 10 minutes in. I can hear a little bit of crackling in there. I doubt you can, but maybe not. Set the camera back up here. Every time I walk over here, every couple of minutes, I can push down a little bit more. But you know, as you can see, these big chunks like this got a lot of pitch and a lot of bark. And the main thing when you're doing this is trying to not catch it on fire. Very hard to put out. It smells good though. I can smell the pitch cooking and got that pine resin smell. I love it. Well, as you can see, I've got a good start on the boiling. Chunks are starting to separate. I got it low in the pot because I don't want it bubbling out and catching fire. But yeah, I got to let her cook. We're about an hour and a half in now, and I did add half another bag of pitch. But yeah, it's coming along. But still got to start here pretty soon. I'll start picking out the wood chunks and stuff like that and letting it drain. And yeah, using a little scoop for that. And it's working good so far, at least. Looking good. See if I can yeah, it's getting close. Still, I get a little hotter. Sorry about the lighting. I got to use the headlamp here. It's getting dark. But yeah, once it gets a little more viscous, I'll be able to strain out all these big chunks of basically stuff I will keep because it'll all be coated in the pitch anyway. And I'm just going to put that all aside in a cardboard box, let it cool, and at some point I'll have a raging fire with just one cardboard box. Alright, well, I've been scooping out the junk, and as you can see, maybe you can see, let me adjust the dang thing here. This is what I got left. It's pretty clean. That stuff will all come out in the strainer, but I kind of want to cook it more. And I've got a big old box of the wood and bugs. There are all kinds of stuff in that. But yeah, I'm going to add the rest of my pitch that I have stored into here. Cook that down. Do the same thing. And we'll see how much I end up with. Hopefully more than it looks like, because it doesn't look like I have much in there. Well, I've got it all cooked. Big pile of debris here. Like I said, sorry about the lighting, but yeah, I'm gonna turn the burner off now, let this harden, and I'll heat it up again tomorrow and filter it through the rice strainer into the pan, and I'll put the pan on the stove also so it stays nice and warm while I'm mixing everything. But the big thing is, yeah, make sure you don't light this stuff. This stuff is very flammable. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning, everybody. You can see it looks pretty good in there. Say it's almost 2 inches deep into the kettle, but now it's time to heat that back up. And then what I'm going to do is put one of my trays over here with my mixture so I can keep the pitch warm when I pour it in there. I am going to pour it through another filter. And yeah, I'll probably heat this up and clean it up a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be a heck of a fire when I put that box in the fire pit and light it. But yeah, let's get her warmed up here. And then I'll have to definitely clean the grill, which is just going to get it really hot when I'm done, and it'll get rid of all the little pitch. It'll just catch fire and burn, no big deal. Yeah, it'll take a few minutes to heat this up. I'm trying this time not to get it to a boil, since I've already done that. I don't need to clarify it that much, but I need to be able to have it run through the screen, so it's got to be pretty hot. But we'll get her going. All right, now we got a layer of the Old Man's Beard in the bottom of the tray, and I'll put a layer of the wood chips over that, and I'll pour this mixture in. But you may ask, why the Old Man's Beard? Well, this stuff has a really quick flash. As you can see, it burns quite effectively, and it's quick. Get that out. So I use that to ignite the pitch a lot faster. I use the wood chips so it burns once it ignites. And some people know when you're lighting a pitch stick or something is what I've been using to stir it. You light something like this, it takes a bit to get it started. So the idea is to, which is starting to really toast on one end. See the smoke coming off of it, which is fine, as long as it doesn't catch fire. I'm trying to keep the edges in so it doesn't catch fire. But yeah, next step is to take some wood chips, spread it over the top, and we'll dump it in. And I'll show you that when I dump it. Well, as you can see, I got my wood chips spread in here. And I'm hoping I got this stuff hot enough and this warm enough. Kind of like making a lasagna, but hopefully it works out. If not, I'll just leave the pan in there until it all kind of melts together. Grab this by the side. So what I do here is pour my mixture see, it's kind of soaking in. Yeah, never do this with anything you want to keep. This is a one-shot deal. I'll probably throw this away once it cools. But now, turn this pan sideways. Turn my burners all the way down. And I'm gonna bake it so it all bakes together really nice. I don't know what temperature we're at in there. Probably not very hot right now, but we'll give it a few minutes. We'll come back and check on it. And I have to check on it quite a bit because the last thing I want to do is have a fire that I can't put out. All right, as you can see, she's definitely cooking real good on this one end. And you can see pitch in the bottom. That's good. What we can do is kind of stir it up a little bit. See, there's some dry spots. Probably got too much of everything in here. But believe it or not, it really doesn't take a lot of pitch to infuse everything. This end's a little colder than this end, but that's alright. It'll come along. And yes, I'll be using these as fire starter sticks when I'm done. So I'm just going to be covered in pitch. When it's hard, it's like a glass. The pitch resin itself. You light this, it'll burn good, make a good fire. But now we're gonna try to mix this stuff a little bit better. It's a lot of pitch in there, that's for sure. Doesn't have to be perfect. I just want pitch kind of touching everything. And once it cools and dries, I'll cut it up into usable chunks and put them in baggies and add to my fire kit. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking real good. Oh. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to let her bake just a little longer. But as you can see, the old man's beard's changed more of the color of the pitch, so you know there's pitch on it. I really want the wood chunks mixed with it too. Alright. Definitely hotter on the one end. Let's flip it around. See if we can get this end hot. Alright, let's try to get some of this off my sticks. Good. Set those aside. Close the lid for a few more minutes. Alright, well, I baked this up to 300 degrees. You can see it's smoking, so I got it turned off now. Let her cool. And then we're on to the next step, which is cut it in usable chunks. But it's got to cool quite a while. It's one thing about pitch, you don't want to get it on you. You wear eye protection the whole time you're doing it. I got some on my finger, fingernail. It's like glass, so it chips right off, but you get it in a spot you don't want it, it'll burn you really good, especially as hot as I got this. And that's why I was using sticks to stir it, so you don't want to touch it. But we'll let her cool down and we'll see what we got. All right. Well, I went shopping, came back, and it seemed to be pretty good. Yeah, a little crumbly on the surface area, but catch all that in the pan. And now the thing about this is, all you got to do, get a look in on the inside of it. You can see it's pretty thick down here, but yeah, just start a fire. This is probably too big of a chunk, but I'll end up breaking it all up into little pieces. And I guess the next thing to do is test it out. All right, let's clean off a little spot of rocks down here. Let me make sure this is actually recording. It is. And I got the old Zippo. Didn't take long at all. Set a rock in here to just set that on. Nice thing about this is gives you plenty of time to put wood on it, get the fire going. Might be able to tell, but it puts off a lot of black smoke. If you're cooking with your fire, you make sure that black smoke is gone before you do. That stuff will stain your pot so bad. But you can see, burns well. I'll have to make sure the dog don't come over here while it's burning. So I'm just gonna let it burn out. But as you saw, it wasn't really hard to light. And this was one of those pieces a little bit more pure of a resin than the others. And another thing about this is it will burn almost completely up. I probably got 20-30 minutes on this chunk. I probably should have broke it a little smaller just for demonstration, but I think it looks pretty good. It works pretty good. And it is very hot, believe it or not. You could use these as fuel tabs if you wanted to get your pot filthy. It would work. But pretty cool. I like it. I hope you guys enjoy this little fire making kit of making the fire starters. It was pretty fun, and yeah, some of the purer chunks definitely have to break down smaller, but as you can see towards the middle, it's pretty thick. And I got a couple little sticks that'll work great for starting fires also. But yeah, it was fun to do. It's nice to finally, I've had the pitch for a while. It's finally nice to get it cooked down and done up. And once this stuff's done, once you cook it, as long as it's not super warm, it's not sticky. So it's not like a fresh resin. It's a little gummy, but it doesn't really stick to your fingers. Like a, fresh resin off the tree is, oh man, you get that on you, you gotta rub dirt in it and get it off you. But this is better. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I know it's not a super long video, but it's a short little demo video on how I make my fire starters. And thank you.